everyone to the open webinar of ODILO. So as we get ahead on the topic, future of learning and development, how AI, artificial intelligence, is leading the way. So let me quickly give you a short intro and introduce the panel speakers and the gazetted invitees for the webinar. So within the landscape of learning and development industry is undergoing a profound transformation with artificial intelligence revolutionizing at its forefront. As we stand in the cusp of new era in education and professional growth, artificial intelligence is reshaping on how we acquire the knowledge, how we develop the skills, and adapt to the ever-changing constant with the new norm of AI in the changing world. So let's explore the exciting ways in which artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the learning and development space, offering a glimpse into the future where personalized, efficient, and engaging unlimited learning experiences are the best new norm. Allow me to introduce the gazetted speakers and the panel. So we have Clare from ALEC, we have Meredith Wellard from DHL, we have Kashif Kamal from Julphar Pharmaceuticals. So, yep, a quick brief about the gazetted panel speakers. Clare is the learning and development lead at ALEC, which has its predominant main offices in the UAE and KSA. So she worked previously as a senior learning and development manager at Expo 2020. Clare has rich expertise across the leadership, talent, and development within various industrial sectors, from the events to aviation, now currently with construction. So she brings in a rich expertise. Welcome, Clare. And Meredith Wellard is the Vice President of Talent Acquisition and Learning and Development Growth at DHL, with over almost 25 years of rich expertise in the HR, talent, and learning space with a focus on customer service. Meredith holds the Masters in Organizational Development. So given her expertise as an initial industry with the health insurance space, she has grown up across the career salience in the DHL Express, where she holds almost 15 years plus experience, where she also had the career experience in the Middle East. So Meredith is currently with DHL Express, and she is engaged in having focused digital HR and enhancing the employee experiences. Her passion is towards the leadership, culture, and benefit for the organization synergies. So as I welcome Meredith, so we have Kashif Kamal, who is the certified L&D learning and development expert with over 2 decades of rich expertise and experience in the pharmaceutical industries across EMEA and global market. So Kashif takes initiatives in the leadership development, emotional quotient. He engages across the workplace employees, and he makes sure to drive the transformation of change with the blend of business insight and cognitive sciences by fostering a culture of continuous learning. I welcome Clare, Meredith, and Kashif for the ODILO's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as I was introducing our gazetted speakers, so with AI, it has been predominantly in the learning pathways across the workplace employees. So if we see the data collection from the analysis pattern of the workplace employees in delivering the customized content and continuous adaptation across the workplace employees with respect to the profiles, artificial intelligence is gearing up the new norm. So with the data collection, as data is the new oil, artificial intelligence is having a quick analysis on the strengths and weaknesses where the workplace employees are currently stationed at. So it is actually giving the right insights for the L&D administrators and the L&D team across the workplaces. And having said that, AI is embedded into the workplace digital learning transformative platforms in recognizing the learning patterns of the workplace employees with optimized learning strategies. As per the content, the moment workplace employees searches, the AI is making sure to tailor the right kind of learning titles and the learning subtopics for the end users to meet their unique learning goals. So, and also with the continuous adaptation with the profiling, if he or she is placed in a different vertical, so the learning carousels and the AI within the platform is blending to the changing requirements, ensuring optimal growth and engagement across the workplace employees. So having said that, I have quick thoughts and queries to place it across the panel. So my quick question is to Meredith. Meredith, given your rich expertise in the L&D space, how do you see the artificial intelligence fundamentally transforming the L&D as in the landscape over the next 5 years? And with DHL, is there, of course, there are synergies. I would request you to share a couple of the AI enhancement that is carried across the global workforce. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so it's always a great question when people ask this, because I think L&D is one of those functions in organizations that is most heavily impacted by AI, both at the entry of the funnel and at the exit of the funnel. So what I mean by that is, if you think about the role of L&D, traditionally it is about providing that knowledge and change capabilities for the business. So in the end, in the first instance, having that role of enabling an organization to be AI capable, building the learning infrastructure to ensure that an organization can respond effectively is important. We all get that. Sometimes what we forget, though, is that and your 4 points here are very well made, is that learning itself is fundamentally changing as a result of AI enablement. So whether it is in the way data is collected, the way patterns are analyzed and offered, the way content's designed and delivered, or ensuring this kind of adaptive learning model, what you also need to understand is that knowledge itself is now highly commoditized with AI being available, particularly with younger generations coming up who are using it as part of their day-to-day, who are no longer needing to retain knowledge to the extent that, for example, I did as a student, and who can really pull on AI as an immediate source of information, and therefore lean on skills development and learning for fundamentally different reasons. So that's about the opportunity to apply my knowledge. That's about the opportunity to fail in a safe context. And that's about the opportunity to continue to enhance the questioning capabilities I have around what's relevant with knowledge today. And I think this is where L&D not only has to change how it works with the data and the systems, but the pedagogy is being challenged, and L&D has to learn to shift the way we look at even how individuals learn and how we deliver that learning. So it's a big story. I could talk for a whole hour just on that topic. But
Thank you, Meredith. I can't agree more with you. So I guess we can blend it like this, like learning with AI is the new norm and is the future, which is transforming across the learning and development industry space. Yep. Thanks a lot for your insight, quick insight, Meredith. So, yep. Claire, I have a quick query. So, given your expertise in the entertainment, events, and the construction, so how AI is integrated into the L&D strategies? What significant impacts have you observed, and what are the benefits that currently, as in the construction industry, is having with the AI that is taking over, I mean, across each and every industry space, but we would love to hear more from the construction industry space. Yep, Claire.
No, thank you. Well, obviously, we still have our foundation learning in terms of making sure we're building the correct managers and leaders. And AI is extremely assisting in that, because you can, as we know with ODILO, set up learning pathways. And the more that is fed into, the more it generates what that topic is that person is interested in. And therefore, it will pump out that information. Yeah. Within the construction industry, and I'm not so much an expert on this side of the business, but I know that we have divisions such as business information modeling. So we're able now to use like VR and augmented reality in order for people, when they're doing those designs, to actually imagine what that's going to look like in the future, which is, steps ahead of where we would have seen ourselves, even 5-10 years ago, I imagine. So there's certainly a massive space for it. But then when we go back from there into how we deal with everyday kind of development and career mapping, the use of AI, I mean, we're all very familiar with ChatGPT and Perplexity and all the other tools that are now available online. But in terms of even designing content at times, a lot of it I use personally, and I don't know about our other speakers, just to validate a lot of my thoughts, and that can speed up the need for spending hours in meetings and debating, because it's already telling you kind of what you know, or actually guiding you into other directions, which can be really useful. So it's very complementary when we still like to do classroom trainings, and because we believe that part of any kind of learning is relationship building, and there is still a gap, I think, where maybe AI needs to move into that, but it can certainly help with generating the knowledge. And even when we look at things like how we collect information from training needs analysis, so we use data that's built into BI reports that then tells us what the needs are in the business, and it's extremely useful as a tool for that as well. So I think that there's more that we use that we don't even realise is available to us quite a lot of the time, if that helps answer your questions.
Yep, thanks a lot, Claire, and blending your thoughts with the business intelligence and how the AI needs to still fill in the gaps within your industry space. Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts. And yep, on the career mapping and the skills mapping, yes, of course, we are going to deep dive as we go ahead in the speaking motion. Yep, thanks a lot. Yep, Kashif, my quick query and question is, given your rich expertise in the pharmaceutical industry, yep, we would love to hear your thoughts in how the AI is transforming across the pharmaceutical health care industries. Yep.
Sure. So I would say that exactly 1 year back, someone offered me training on generative AI free of cost. And my first reaction was that I do not need a training to work on ChatGPT. And now here we are, exactly after 1 year. And I'm enrolling myself into a lot of training programs now. Yep. So answering your question, that how the pharmaceutical industry is looking the generative AI and what we are doing in the learning and development space for pharmaceutical. I would like to start like this, that we are currently witnessing a exponential rise in the use of the AI tools in learning and development, and pharmaceutical industry is not the one who is behind of all this. We are in the race. I was just going through the article on LinkedIn Learning, and it says that as per the recent studies, there is 86% of the L&D professionals are now using generative AI. Tools like ChatGPT, like Microsoft Copilot, to assist with their daily task. And just 1 year ago, I remember it was there were very few number of people who were using this generative AI tools. See, this rapid adoption is nothing short of a revolutionary especially for the learning and development. And what makes this even more impressive is how AI is impacting various areas of learning and development. So learning and development, if we see the entire spectrum around, we talk about design and development, we talk about the pedagogy, we talk about the andragogy, we talk about the learning styles, n number of things being impacted by artificial intelligence. So whether it's a need analysis, writing the learning objectives, selection of the instructional strategies, or even scripting the training modules. In short, AI is helping us to work faster, smarter, and more creatively.
Yep, can't agree more, Kashif. Thank you for sharing your insight and blending up with your real-time experience and example, and taking the points of Clare and Meredith and relating it to your specific industry. Yep, yes, AI is now becoming the new norm. Yes, as we proceed further into the slide, AI, artificial intelligence, is what we see is also acting like the tutoring system. I mean, be it like natural language processing. AI tutors are having, I mean, like the artificial intelligence avatars is leveraging on the NLP quotient, and it's having a blend of human-like interactions. Couple of observations which I have seen across with the L&D professionals. They started to take the selfie, and the language transition has been across multiple languages. I mean, like if he or she is speaking in English, it has been translated across multiple languages. So this is one such component which has been observed, and AI is also having the real-time feedback for the learning and training administrators across the workplace employees. So the AI is making sure that there is a constructive feedback. AI Copilot is certainly such kind of feature which is making sure that the learners have an real-time engagement, and it is also giving the feedback and the performance. One such recent example which I can relate, I guess even Meredith can relate, because she has her expertise in the customer services. Like the AI Copilot is actually having that engagement of the AI avatar with the end users or the workplace employees to have a constant engagement. And if there is anything wrong in the communication style, if there is anything, so AI is giving the immediate feedback. So this is what I have observed it recently, and the adaptive styles of questioning. So the end user is having to make sure that he or she has the optimal challenges. I mean, it can be like a daily activity challenge, or it can be a monthly activity challenge. So this is happening within the workplace digital intelligent learning platforms. And apart from that, the advanced AI avatars are coming into the picture, which is actually capturing the emotional states and encouraging to have that real-time engagement for the end users, and it is motivating and making sure that it is highly engaging for the employees. Yeah. So as I was highlighting on the immersive learning experiences, and initially when I mentioned unlimited learning experiences, we have the virtual reality, we have the augmented reality, and we have the AI generated solutions, probably where people are sitting aloof with the hybrid working norms, and also this has been quite relevant with the AR VR, where it is a kind of engagement which actually has a standard operating procedure. If you take the highly risk areas where employees can't go. So it is giving a real-time insight for the employees to have that learning experiences and having it captured so that the standard operating procedures and the compliances have been thoroughly as a kind of engagement for the workplace employees. So, yeah, having said that, I have a couple of questions again to the speaking panel. So, Meredith, my initial question is like, what strategies have been implemented, and how do you see the change of AI taking with the power styles of learning? As I say, the power, like it's prepare, organize, work, evaluate, and rethink from the organization's perspective. And how do you see that it is having a quite engagement in the logistics supply chain and the customer service segments?
Right. So I think starting with how we've used AI across the spectrum of in particular learning, but also career pathing and talent, where we have implemented recently across 600,000 people in our business. So it's basically every country in the world, a AI-driven platform that provides people the opportunity to share their skills that they have, share the skills that they want to develop. It's a marketplace, so it then responds back to them using an AI matching capability with potential learning and jobs that they might want to do, including gigs and assignments and other extensions.
Yeah.
And that is the core frame on which people operate when they're learning in our organization. From there, they're able to embrace any form of learning that has either been developed through some of the AI capabilities that we have, or using some of this virtual, augmented, or extended experiences, simulations and so forth, to bring to life the application of knowledge. So that's the really key thing that we're trying to drive here, how you apply your knowledge.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think what's really important is that we have been able to democratize the learning experience by, on the one hand, providing content that's freely and openly available through video platforms, and a lot of that content is self-generated, so it's supported by AI capabilities, whether it's a generative AI or whether it's a curation capability.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, actually providing a platform for people who are non-learning experts to develop short learning content experiences that we then publish on our LMS, that is really generated by the user, but follows a strong pedagogical structure. So including tests that have been generated by the platform and things like that. So it's sort of a holistic picture here where we say, give the people the tools, make it easy for them to use, personalize it, base it on skills, and then let them experience it. And they won't all use all of it at the beginning, but over time, it more and more becomes relevant to them, particularly when their peers and others across the business are sharing their experiences. So it's a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Madhat, in mentioning the marketplace. Yes, I mean, content marketplace is one such main factor, and thank you for making sure that it blends with the learning activities, with the daily challenges and the learning checks, with the learning experiences. Thank you for sharing your insights. Yep. Claire, I have a quick question. My question to is like how the learning and training department is leveraging on AI to enhance the knowledge sharing, as Madhat quickly shared something as a synergy on the peer-to-peer learning, and particularly in aligning, considering the region's specs, there is a lot of reskilling and upskilling synergies happening for the local talent. And we see that you recently initiated Mustaqbal program across the ALEC. Could you also share the insights on how organizations are effectively leveraging on the adaptive styles of the AI learning experiences? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I think one thing that we've recently done, which isn't necessarily linked to AI, but helps us to understand how people learn, because we know that all of us learn in different ways and have different styles that we take in information. So we recently conducted a company employment survey that was linked to a psychometric test. So therefore that allowed us to understand as a company in a lot more detail the majority types of individuals that we had. So being that we're very much an engineering based type of company, it's not a great surprise that a lot of our mindset's very technically focused, which has allowed us to then look at how we move our training into that field. So we're actually individualizing and personalizing what learning we can apply. With that, we've also got, as has been pointed out by Meredith, I believe, we are moving into a world where we have a lot more younger generations coming in. So we do use things such as Articulate and Synthesesia to kind of have more skill-based learning. So people don't always have the time that they want anymore. So we're adopting a much more of a quick, short, sharp learning, and then moving it into that adapted to the needs of our people, if that makes sense to everybody.
Yep. Thank you, Claire, in mentioning and highlighting the quick learning style. We see that it is the bite-sized learning, interactive engagements to have that high engagement across the workplace employees. Thank you, Claire, in highlighting this. Yep. Kashif, over to you. With AI facilitating, how do you see the aspire journeys for the workplace employees? If someone is aspiring for the role within the organization, how do you see AI coming up, and how it is blending across different learning modalities across the verticals of the organization and also the business areas?
Thank you. Quite interesting question. So when we talk about the aspirations of the individuals and how AI can help us in identifying those areas where the individuals are inclined or the employees are inclined to move. So I think over here, the role of the learning and development is very critical. So, and I feel like that when we talk about the future, by 2025, this is what I predict. We will be seeing more specialized AI tools that will dramatically enhance not just the speed, but also the effectiveness, not only of the learning and development programs, but also it will impact the overall the cycle of talent management and talent development. So this will also include identifying the high performers and then creating the learning plans, and then I would say that impacting the overall cycle of the talent management and talent development. But when we talk about the individual aspirations, there are certain don'ts as well, which is associated with AI. And I would say that we should not solely depend upon the complex decision making when it comes to AI, because human oversight is very crucial, especially when you are doing a task like a talent management task, or maybe a talent development task, or maybe something related to the development paths. And another thing is when we talk about the development paths, right? Do not ignore the importance of the emotional intelligence and the human interaction in that, because AI can augment but not replace the human touch. So, and do not overlook the data privacy and ethics when using the AI tool as well. So I think it's all depending upon that a mix or a blend of the technology and the human side, and this will take the it will take the curve to the next level. This is what I feel.
Thanks a lot, Kashif. Probably you have also answered one of the question which I have jotted for the panel speakers. Yep, the technology with human element is definitely the added advantage for any organization. But technology is predominantly in having the quick results and everything. But with the human element, we can make sure that the insight shared is highly effective. Yeah. Thank you, Kashif. Yep. Artificial intelligence is also making sure that the content creation is curated as per the learner's style. So with the content generation, the workplace digital intelligent learning platforms are having the algorithms to make sure that the workplace employees are having the diverse content from the marketplace tailored to different learning styles and learning engagements on the personalized curation as AI is also making sure to analyze the skills gap and making sure that the content is having the real-time engagement from the bite-sized learning with the learning styles and the training norms from the organizations to make sure that it is completely blended. And of course, artificial intelligence is making sure that there is a continuous improvement, focusing much more on the learner's feedback, performance data, and in ensuring that there is a highly driven content across the workplace employees. Yep. As I was highlighting on the content creation and curation before we before we move forward, here is a common question that I would like to ask. And in today's rapid changing world with the fast work environments, how do we view the importance of skills taxonomy across the organization to make sure that the on-the-job career mapping is there, and to leverage the AI component across the organization to analyze the talent data, identify the skills gap, and bridge the gap of continuous learning? Yep. Over to you, Meredith, Claire, and Kashif. Yep. We would love to hear your insights.
Yeah, maybe just to kick that off, it was something that Kashif said before that I thought was brilliant, which is that idea that, that basically the world of talent is changing as we shift also from a role-based perspective to a skills-based perspective. And why? Because skills are changing faster, are unknown today what we need tomorrow, and we therefore need to have a really effective way, not spray and pray, but really a targeted way of ensuring that individuals, once we identify the skills they might need, actually have the personalized experience to develop those skills.
Yep.
And when you put that alongside the fact that people's expectations are shifting, we have non-traditional development routes, people with non-traditional careers coming into jobs. We have people with different expectations from learning. We have neurodiversity to consider. We have globalization, different languages. There's so many things now. There's no longer a homogenous learning model that we follow. We need to rely on the ability of some of this technical competence of AI to personalize and target the right type of content at the right time in the flow of work for people. Now, and I'm not saying that we won't do traditional learning. I think that still has a place in the world, and Claire touched on that earlier. You do need the learning in the classroom. You do need that environment. But in the end, if you're going to get those skills really targeted just in time, you can't do it manually. You can't rely on, at least of an organization our size, you definitely can't rely on, you know, individual people in a learning and development team to be able to respond on that speed and accuracy. We have to rely on machine to do that.
Thank you, Mother. Clare and Kashif, would you like to add anything to the insights shared by Mother?
No, I think, you know, I think Meredith covered quite a lot in what she said, in all fairness, and I think most of us would all agree with her analysis there. I just, you know, I think none of us could really know exactly where this is heading, and, you know, even sat here earlier thinking about how, you know, we use, for example, in our virtual reality within our business information modeling department to imagine what you know, one of our constructions is going to look like. What's to say that we're not going to be starting to use that to think about more within how we interact with other individuals, but using that VR reality that we can then respond to you. I mean, at Expo we had robots, and, you know, within Dubai you can go into you know, I went in for a medical appointment a couple of days ago, and there was a robot in the reception that I could plug into that gave me, told me where I needed to go, what floor it was on, have a nice day, etc., etc. I mean, Dubai with itself, as we know, is quite an advanced place to live in. You know, I imagine myself in a flying taxi in not much more than a couple of years, but I think how we approach this is a mixture of excitement and caution all wrapped into one. It's you know, interesting. It's going to be an interesting time, and I think as well, and I don't know how the rest of the panel feel about this, but it's also, I'm learning and unpacking it as I'm going along. So that's quite novel for, I think, many of us within the industry as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Clare. Kashif, your insights, would you love to add to the insights shared by Clare and Mother?
So I just want to build upon what been said by Clare and Mother, that we have to rely upon, and there is no second option to that. We have to rely upon the technology. And as we look ahead, you know, AI will undoubtedly play an even more central role, especially in the learning and development. And many other fields as well, actually. The challenge for us as L&D professionals, number one, is to embrace this technology while staying mindful, which is very important. We have to accept this, that this is a change which is happening, and we have to embrace this, and we have to adapt this quickly. And we need to understand the limitation that this technology is having. So, of course, every technology is coming with some sort of limitation. We need to be mindful about those limitations as well. And whatever we are using in terms of AI, whether we are using any kind of tool or any specific tool for learning and development, which will come in future, we need to be mindful, and we should ensure that we should keep on creating the impactful learning experiences. That is the center of everything. So that's what just I want to add to what been said by Meredith and Clare.
Thank you, Kashif. Thank you. Clare, definitely I can relate it with you. I guess even Kashif, with the robos engagement across different sectors in Dubai. It is becoming, I mean, like, very efficient and very effective. And Madhut, as you were mentioning on the skills, identifying the skills gap, one question, a common question which I get from the L&D managers across various industries is like, Harish, yes, we have the skills taxonomy. I mean, like we can relate with the skills dashboard, but then for a specific role or a business area, has there to be any norm in having top 10 skills or like top 11 to 12 skills so that the KPIs are set for the workplace employees? Your thoughts on this, please? Madhut, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I think the answer is no. There is no standard. I don't think we've even reached a sort of dominant design in that space. What I do know, though, is that the traditional view on a skills taxonomy, which is, you know, that it is static, that it stays for that way for a period of time, and that we can develop competencies and learning outcomes once that skill framework has been established. This is completely not going to be possible as we move forward. And why? Because of the speed of change. And that is not going to slow down. You know, you've seen that sort of escalation of adoption, you know, culminating most recently with the adoption of generative AI. But I mean, that took something like 6 months to go from nothing to, you know, everything. So we need to establish a way of looking at skills which is less about having this sort of fixed taxonomy and more about having an adaptive or dynamic ontology, which doesn't mean that when it comes to things like certifications and governance, and, you know, it's always a bit uncomfortable for me having a farmer and manufacturer or a construction person on the phone, because I know and I understand that there are definitely guidelines and structures and formalized certifications that need to be carried through, and those do need fixed skills for sure. But I also know that in both those industries, and certainly in ours, automation, robotization, the personalization and digital activation space, this is still unknown how much of an impact that will have. And I always use the example of the automotive industry where, you know, they are fundamentally shifting from the production of cars today as they're done in automation plants, and you know, cars that are reliant on current fuels, and they are looking now at, okay, what does the future look like? And it's going to be alternative fuels, it's going to be fully automated factories, it's going to be, they don't even know what skills they need in 2 years' time. So whatever we do, it needs to be able to react very quickly and establish knowledge very quickly. And I think, and this is my personal view, that we in learning and development should rather be focusing on creating a world where our people are curious, where they are self-motivated as learners, where they know where to find the learning and how to access it. And very importantly, and I know it's a challenge for everyone, that leadership in every organization needs to understand that learning is no longer unproductive time. Learning is actually necessary for the first time in my entire career as part of running a business. So that's probably the big change. Oh, I love my love heart there. Thank you, someone. So skills is coming. It's definitely coming. But no, I don't think that there's yet a standard for that. So.
Thank you, Madhut. Probably a blend of subject matter expert or else like a learning coach to the L&D team will definitely be beneficial. And having said that, I definitely consider your last main key highlight to the leadership, because it comes across even when I get ahead in convincing the managements, like, yes, learning is must, and that is how we retain the top talent across the workplace, and we make sure that it is highly engaging, and that is how the ROI is taking into the consideration. Thank you for highlighting this point. Yep, as Madhav, Clare, and Kashif were highlighting on the skills taxonomy, we get ahead in knowing how AI is being with the skill gap analysis and career pathing. So, of course, data is must in understanding the real side industry focus and what are the current job market trends to make sure that the individual performance metrics are set, identifying the skills. Of course, AI is coming in making sure that there are right skills set and also the career path set. But of course, it has to be a bit blend with the subject matter experts and the uh, career coaches. Personalized recommendation is based on the profiles across the employees with different business areas in the organization. AI is now helping tailoring the learning experiences to make sure that the right engagement is there. For example, I, as an individual, am based in the role of key account manager intermediate, and I'm aspiring for the role of key account manager junior. So probably the L&D admin team can engage with the subject matter expert or the learning coach to make sure that the right skills are set in having the right traction across the workplace employees. Continuous monitoring, of course. AI is making sure that with the evolving industry standards and the demand, the right career goals are set for the workplace employees, being it from the entry level to the managerial level to the leadership level. Yep, this is a quick overview on how AI is identifying, I mean, the current skills, future skills demand, and the recommended learning path. So these are a couple of synopses taken from the real-time insights across the organizations. Yep, AI is also making sure that there is a dynamic team collaboration. I mean, with the peer-to-peer learning engagement, the workforce employees can recommend their team to have a kind of learning engagement from the content marketplace. AI facilitation is actually making sure that the workplace employees are having more kind of inclusive learning experiences. Real-time translation, of course, we have now, it's trending seamlessly with the diverse linguistic voiceovers and the subtitles. So AI is actually bridging this gap. And also with the learning performance and learning analytics, AI is contributing and identifying individuals to make sure that the managers across the different verticals of the organization are able to develop a dynamic team. Yep, these are couple of real-time insights on how the AI avatar is making sure that the learning gets engaged, especially now with the rapid kind of face-to-face trainings. If the L&D manager wants to blend up with the instructional design component, so probably over there, the AI is making sure that the avatars are having that real-time engagement across the workplace employees and making sure that the specific standard training is carried out. Of course, we have the translation, we have the subtitles, and yep, AI is been much absorbed on the instructional design component as well. Now, the future of the AI and the learning development with the seamless integrations that are happening across the workplace employees. So there is a constant lifelong learning process. The continuous adaptation to the working styles. It is making sure that there is an evolution of the learning with quick adaptability and making sure that there is the workforce engagement with the AI blended technologies. Probably soon we are going to observe AI coming up with the ethical kind of practices and making sure that there is a kind of digital citizenship that is being shared across the end users. And also AI is now capturing the intelligence quotient, especially with the emotional intelligence quotients, and making sure that it is improvising with the kind of co-pilot learning synergies to make sure the employees have the real-time engagement across the workplaces. Yep, this is quite a recent study which has been taken from a couple of sources, especially the force rays and everything. So what we have identified is the AI in the L&D has increased the positive impact on creating the methodologies, and the efficiency has increased up to 65%. And with the specialized AI tools, as I was also highlighting on the instructional design component, industries, especially in the pharmaceutical engineering, had the extra leverage to augment the workforce with the real-time engagements to have this trainings much more in an efficient way by having the high engagement across the workplace from 50 to 70%. I mean, be it like the standard operating procedure or else like the mandatory trainings and the compliances. So this has been much effective with the AI tools with the instructional design component. And very much with the ready-to-build training programs, as I was mentioning on the AI co-pilot modules. So this is actually making sure that different verticals within the organization, especially the customer service and couple of frontline engagements for the organizations, is having and quality output with increased engagement up to 75%. What we predict is in the near future, there will be definitely rise in the specialized AI tools in the learning and development sector, with also focus on the industry specific data, and also to make sure that the learning and development strategies are augmented to drive synergies much more on the upskilling and reskilling synergies across the organization. Yep, having said that and quickly taken through what the AI is transforming across the L&D, I have a couple of questions to the esteemed panel and the distinguished guest. Yep. One such highlight, Kashif initially mentioned it on the AI and human interaction. So a quick query, how do we envision the balance between the AI-powered learning styles and the human component of the instruction-based face-to-face trainings? Will AI ever actually take and replace the human element? So this is one such basic thoughts I had, which I would love to ask the speaking panel. Yeah.
So I would say that first of all, nothing can replace the human touch and the human element. So there is artificial intelligence, but there is a human intelligence as well.
Okay.
So nothing can replace the human intelligence. That will have its own place when it comes to learning and development. Not only learning and development, I would say that when Meredith was talking about identifying the skills gap and how we can identify the skills gap using the technology, using AI. I would say that this is what I have observed in the recent times. That when we talk about, when we create the competency label, we find that there are two types of competency. One is the behavioral competency and then the functional competency. And based upon that, we create our skills matrix.
Yep.
I would say that in the coming times, we need to integrate, or we need to include the AI competency as one of the factors which will define the skills matrix at the second level, and that will define the learning paths for the individuals, which is very important. And here comes the difference between that. What are those areas where AI will have a very crucial role, and the areas where there will be a human factor which is required?
Yeah.
So this will definitely, get clear as we move forward. But one thing I can say with my experience, that nothing can replace the human factor over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I agree to you with you, Kashif. Claire and Meredith, would you like to add to how the AI and human element can blend and make sure that it becomes as a productive synergy?
Yeah, I think like all learning, it's going to be different according to the need of the learner, the business construct, the job that the individual does, and so forth. And if I saw a question in the chat, which I thought was a good one, around how do you bring learning to people who are in really frontline jobs, in construction, or in our case in warehousing or delivery. And here I think the human is less, and the technology enables something that doesn't necessarily exist to a significant extent today, because of the technology on their handheld devices, or in their place of work. They can experience learning more than in the past, when they had to be taken off the job by a human. But I love that idea of human intelligence and artificial intelligence. The two have to exist. And here I think the role of the supervisor or team lead becomes very, very important, to reinforce, to support and direct, and ensure that learning is encouraged. So I think you can't do without both, is my honest word.
Yep, for sure, Meredith. Claire, would you love to add your thoughts in having a productive synergy of adding, like with the combination of human and the AI element?
Yeah, and I suppose when I reflect back on my career, and I go all the way back to being in aviation, and I think one of, we had flight simulators for our flight crew to be able to practice. Obviously they can't fly in real planes, and practice crash situations. So effectively, that was AI within its time, that they were able to use that. So again, going back to that, being able to have the skill to land a plane, for example, in this context, that's a brilliant methodology of doing it. However, what necessarily that the technology can't measure is the stress factor of the individual, the emotional reaction of the individual, and how that person may operate under pressure, or even in a positive environment, etc. And I think as well, I'm quite interested in this sort of movement in AI, not just within the learning and development field, but within sort of general way of life. And I do a lot of, I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, and there's a gentleman I like called Mo Gaudat. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with on the call or on the panel, who was the head of Google X and has since left, and he now does a lot of talks around AI. And he talks about, it's very much similar to what we are, but an interesting talk he gives about how AI, they did an experiment with a robot, and they asked it, in a pit of red balls, please pick out the yellow one. And eventually, after months and months, eventually the robot could begin to pick out the yellow ball. So there's a positive to that, but there's also a little bit of scariness as to where is this leading. And I think if COVID's taught us anything as well, it's that the need for human interaction will always be critical. And funnily enough, we did a classroom training this morning around leadership, and I was able to share some of my personal experiences that I can then adapt, and I don't know how we're ever going to get that from a computer, if it's all artificial intelligence, and I'm talking in that level. So yes, I think it's not going anywhere, so we have to work with it, that's for sure. But it's I suppose it's making sure that we utilize it in the right way and that it doesn't start overtaking and utilizing us, if that makes sense. But yeah, that would be my views.
Thanks a lot, Claire, in highlighting and taking the real-time experiences, what you have seen with the AI kind of thing. So a quick question after that, we will be taking the questions from the participants who are there online as well. A quick question, I mean, this is a quick one. What kind of metrics and the best practices should be adopted by the L&D in making sure that the AI component is having the increased presence? And is there any kind of metric to have the ROI tracked with the AI-powered learning and development initiatives?
That's a quick question.
Quick
I think that's how long have we got left? 30 seconds. I think that's the main thing is on a really pragmatic level, ensuring that the AI is doing what it is intended to do, so that it's accurate in terms of its recommendations, it's unbiased, it's you know, from an integrity perspective, it's being looked after by someone and audited properly. But I think also you would want to track engagement and impact in terms of things like cost savings and this type of thing, accuracy, skills. I think having AI doesn't really change a lot of what you would track. It's just a lot faster and a lot more data coming from it.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Meredith. Kashif and Claire, would you like to share on the basic norms and the metrics and how the ROI should be tracked for any AI-driven learning initiatives?
See, of course, AI is going to impact the L&D metrics, but in general, I think learning and development, they should now focus on how to get a seat with the business. And as Meredith was mentioning, that we should be, now focusing that how we can transform learning and development as a revenue generator rather than just seeing as a filler. So I'm putting a very strong statement over here, but sorry to say that. So learning and development need to have their seat in general with the business. People should see learning and development as business. We should run learning and development as a business, because now the tools which were missing earlier, now it's with us. We can develop the metrics. We can create the learning experiences using AI, and we can blend it with so many other things. So one thing which I would like to see in future when it comes to the learning and development metrics, I would say that showcasing the results of learning and development, the ROI which you're talking about, Harish, that how we can calculate a proper return on investment on a particular learning or development program. And this can be, one of the key factors which can change the entire game of learning and development, because this is the area, this is the painful area which every learning and development professional has gone through. When the business asks us that what is the ROI, we can only showcase the intangible results, sometimes not the tangible ones, not the numbers. So these are the pain areas. But yes, I think now the tools are there and we need to work upon that. Yep.
Thank you, Kashif. Definitely it has to be a bit revenue focused for the organizations. Claire, would you like to share your insights on this?
I think, yeah, I mean, agreeing with, the previous panel members, but, in terms of ROI, I think it could be a bit more industry specific in the sense that if you're maybe in more of a customer service element than myself and the other the other guys on the call, you know, you can use it to measure Net Promoter Scores, but I think it really is dependent on what industry you're in, to be fair.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Zoe, thanks a lot, Meredith, Kashif, Claire, in making sure that the webinar was quite a bit engaging. Zoe, can we have the questions from the participants?
Yes, thank you all for coming to this webinar. We are running a bit out of time, so I'm just going to choose one random question, and we can all leave. So they're asking, could you recommend any AI tools that can assist with conducting learning needs analysis?
I think, well, I mean, even ChatGPT at its most basic level, you can put in or Perplexity, you can put in kind of what it is that you're looking for, and it can pretty much spit out, like, depending on what industry you're in. If you could say, like, I'm looking for a learning needs analysis from someone becoming, say in my case, let's say a junior foreman to becoming a senior, what would be maybe some of the needs that could go in there? And it's quite intelligent at pulling that out. I mean, that would be one way, if that's helpful.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone. I think we all have to go. So thank you for joining, and see you next time. Thank you so much, guys, for your insights.
Thank you everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Kashif, thank you, Claire, and making sure that the webinar was highly engaging. We thank a lot from ODILO in making sure it was a successful webinar to all the participants, and thank you for sharing your industry insights and real-time insights. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Bye-bye.
lot, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.